Welcome to We Talking About Sports. It's been a week and the playoffs have progressed. We already have some round one advancements, and there's a little bit of panic setting in the West for some on the podcast. Roland, let's talk about it. Let's get into this one.
Ah, man, I wish we could go back in time and redo our predictions, especially in the West. It's really not looking good. Really miscalculated things. I mean, I can't even count the one series that I got right so far in the West between the Thunder and the Grizzlies, because the Grizzlies decided not to show up the last game and they got blown out by like 50 or something. So yeah, it's been a rough start, but I'm glad to be talking about it with you guys here tonight.
Definitely. Ron, what about you, man?
Shit,
Panic hit?
man. Can we hit the panic button like fucking 2-3 days ago? Because it hasn't been looking good, not just last game, but even the one before for the Lakers, man. Definitely hit the panic button. One more game and we're out. We're at home at least. I mean, if you can get it to game 6 and finally steal one on the road, bring it back to LA for a game 7. Typical LA storyline fashion with LeBron and Luka. That would just be the cherry on top of the season to keep that cinematic shit going on in LA. But nonetheless, let's get into the rest of it though.
Well, let's just look into the West and who's already advanced, and that's your one seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, advancing. Roland mentioned they played the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies had no answer for Oklahoma City. Definitely showing up why they were the one seed. Roland, what'd you make of that series? I mean, that was quick work, not much. Maybe what was it, game three, where Memphis finally had a pretty sizable lead and squandered that away once John Morant went out. What'd you make of
Yeah,
that series?
yeah, and that's really the story of it right there. Because I mean, the Thunder, they took care of business the first two games, but to your point, John Morant and the Grizzlies came out strong. Game three looked like they had it in tow. According to John Morant, he had the Thunder figured out before he got hurt there by by Lou Dort.
Yeah, we could tell.
Unfortunate injury, nothing dirty. Lou Dort slipped. He was hustling on defense as he's known to do. Just caught in a bad situation there with the pass back to Morant. And Morant, a guy that is often criticized for his injuries and not really being on the court. This is something that he can't really control. I mean, it was a freak accident in my opinion. So prayers to Morant. Hope he comes back in due time and has a better outing than he did this past year, ending with this blowout. But yeah, I mean, after he got hurt, it was just kind of curtains from that point. The Thunder, mounted that huge comeback, ended up winning the game. There's some pretty good live in game spots to take the Thunder. I think they were over like maybe 12. Somebody pointed out. I think Ben did during that game. So they came out, won that game, completed the sweep. But yeah, really nothing to see here. The Grizzlies, disappointing story overall, really. I think that's the main story is the Grizzlies were just disappointing this year. At one point in time, they were the 2 seed. Things were looking good for them, playing some good basketball, found some gems, in Santi Aldana, and Edie was playing pretty good. Tall center from Purdue. Everybody knows him. And, Morant and JJJ were playing good, and they were getting some good contributions all around, looking like a good team. Then they fired their coach, and things just kind of spiral out of control and ended up in them getting swept. So we'll see what's to come from the Thunder. I'm glad they took care of business, and they're waiting to see what happens here between the Clippers and the Nuggets, which I'm sure we'll talk about here tonight too.
They played who did they beat to get in? The Mavs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Mavs.
I would have
They have
rather
to play
seen the
two teams,
Mavs,
no?
right?
Yeah, they lost to the Warriors and then beat the Mavs to get in.
I would have rather seen the Mavs. Or what do y'all think?
No.
Like just to see like Anthony Davis at least go one round deep, like just to see how that Mavs team could have done. I mean, they couldn't have done
maybe.
worse, right?
Yeah,
Than getting swept.
They might have gotten the gentleman's sweep just out of effort and having their squad going into it healthy. Maybe Anthony Davis stays healthy the whole series.
Yeah.
It couldn't have got worse. So,
But from the Thunder side, though, what do you guys have any takeaways, or just they took care of business and let's see what happens in the second round, because that's what we've been waiting for from this squad.
from the Thunder side, I underestimated their true ability. I assumed that just because they were younger, that they would struggle a little bit and not take that step forward. I thought there would still be a possibility of getting them out in the first round, but they are better than I assumed, and they will give a tough matchup to whoever wins between the Clippers and Nuggets. And I really thought for sure that second round at best, but now I'm feeling like they might make that WCF.
Yeah, man. I mean, they only lost 15 times throughout the year or something like
I
that. It's going to be
know.
hard for them to catch 4 losses in a series. What about you, Ron, on the Thunder?
No, when I heard that stat that you just said right now, I was like, oh shit, they were that good. So, but as far as them beating the team that they beat, I mean that's kind of what you're supposed to do. You know, you're the number one overall seed for a reason. You get the double play-in loser team. I mean, you're supposed to put them away. So I would say, yeah, great. They did what they're supposed to do, but I mean, the Clippers and the Nuggets aren't a fucking playing team. So I think next round they get hit with reality because everybody kind of said that, right? They're young, they're inexperienced. So when the playoff time comes around, they're going to have trouble. So if they do, or actually, since they already went to the second round, I think that's where they'll see the trouble, not the first round. It's kind of like a bye week kind of vibe.
Yeah, they really didn't get tested, and I was also glad too to see some of the other guys take over. Like SGA, I think that first game only had 15 points, but that's to your point too, though, Ron. I mean, they really didn't need much to get by
Yeah.
the Grizzlies. I think SGA could have probably sat out this whole series, and they still would have taken out the Thunder in 5 or 6, just based off of how deep this squad is. But yeah. Thunder take care of business. What's next?
What about the Grizzlies though? Where do they go from here? Because what can you do to assemble them to make them better? Like what pieces are they gonna need? I mean, they're kind of in I would say like a purgatory where they're just kind of stuck at this point with what they have as far as the roster goes.
They're in a weird spot. Ja Morant is their best player. I don't know what the status for JJJ and his contract is. I don't know if he's eligible for the Supermax or if he's a guy that you even want to give a Supermax. And again, I think he's a good player. I'm not trying to disrespect Jaren Jackson Jr. by any means, but in my opinion, I think his offensive game sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired. I think he should try and be a little bit more. He tries to play like that Bam Adebayo role a little bit, but then he kind of falls in love with the jump shot and the 3-point shot. He has games where he shoots more threes than he does twos, and he's a center. He's supposed to be in there in the paint, establishing himself. So to your point, they're kind of in a weird spot. They got Desmond Bane, who I thought played good through most of the series. He was doing what he could.
Yeah, he actually did play pretty good.
Scottie Pippen Jr., showed that he's nice, but they got to get their house in order. To your point, Justin, they got to get their house in order, get a true head coach. They fired their head coach like a month before the playoffs. That's never a good sign. So, and again, like I said, with the huge disappointment that the Grizzlies were, that's because at one point and deep into the season, probably not like March timeframe, but maybe like around All-Star break, February, they were the 2 seed. So, I mean, they had promise at one point this year. So hopefully Ja Morant can play a full 82 or close to it. And that's a good start.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to the other West games. Let's move over to the 4th and the 5th seed, which has been an absolute dogfight. We'll see them play their 5th game tonight at 9 p.m. Central if you're looking in at TNT on Max. That's the Clippers and the Nuggets. We've seen the Nuggets. We know what they're capable of. And the Clippers, this duo with Kawhi and Harden are really showing up. But it's not just a duo. There's some real pieces in LA for the Dippers, and they are doing something. Roland, I'm going to let you lead in on this, man. Did you expect the series to be 2-2?
Man, I was really hoping it would be 3-1 right now, the Clippers. I mean, I really thought they had a good opportunity there at home, to steal that victory there. And it was a comeback victory at that. And still had a chance to go ahead and win the game. But, the clip that's gone around the world, Jokic, that was a shot, right? I mean, he just threw it up, hoping for the best.
Gordon, yeah.
To Gordon, he gets it in just in the nick of time. Like that, they were, comparing it to the speed of light. And that's like how close it was to being a non-basket and, not good for Denver. But 2-2. It's kind of, sketchy territory if you're the Clippers, I would say, just because, you're going back to Denver. It's 2-2. It really should be 3-1. But from the way that this series has gone, I think you can take some good things away, even from the loss this past weekend. To your point earlier, Justin, it's not just Kawhi and James Harden. Zubac is a real piece. I think he's proved himself, here this season throughout the year, a double machine. And here in the playoffs, I think he's been a good solid piece for them that they can rely on. And, he gives Jokic enough trouble. Like, he makes him work consistently. He has that size to stay with him, and he's not afraid. So you got to like what you get out of Zubac. Norman Powell's been hit or miss. And, that I like him because of the intensity that he brings on defense. He hounds Jamal Murray as much as he can, but done. I mean, he could not hit an open three to save his life this last game. He's a guy that often finds himself open in these situations, especially in the playoffs when you're trying to guard guys like James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. So you're going to leave a guy like Dunn wide open, and he's got to hit some shots here if they want to win tonight. I'm not saying it's all on Dunn, but it would be nice for to him to at least get some respect out of the defense, so they're not completely helping off of him, even though they probably will anyways. But I'm going to stick with the Clippers. I'm not worried. They're favored by 2 tonight going into Denver. Like I said, I'm worried. I'm not pressing the panic button for the Clippers per se because it's 2-2. But I'm going to stick with my bet here. I think the Clippers will find a way to pull it out. I still think they have the more consistent offense. When like guys like Aaron Gordon are hitting threes, and I get he was better this year at shooting the three. I just don't think that's something that the Nuggets can consistently bank on. They're still playing Russell Westbrook a lot of minutes. I think that's going to come back and bite them. But again, it's Jokic. He's the best player in the world. So wouldn't be surprised if he finds a way to sneak one out here.
Yeah. Westbrook didn't play last game, which might have helped him in the end. The other guy that's really showing up for the Clippers, Norman Powell. Now, that's normally a role player, but he has been big this series so far. Ron, did you expect the series to be the dogfight that it is right now at 2-2?
Yeah, I called it in the beginning of the podcast for the season going into the playoffs. A lot of people had the Clippers running away with it easy, and I said, hey, chill, The Nuggets were just in the playoffs a couple years ago. They have the MVP, arguably the MVP. He didn't win it, but anytime you have that guy and that roster who has been together too, it's not, they didn't get anybody in trade like the Lakers did. They're not a young group that's, maybe like the Rockets that's inexperienced. I mean, they have it all. They have the depth. They have the championship pedigree. They have the best players. So, I mean, you have to put that against who they're playing, and maybe not Kawhi, but the choke artist himself. That's our biggest argument to Ben, is that Uno disappears in the playoffs. So that was something else to me that said, hey, he's been great. He had a great regular season, but what has he shown us the last couple years is that he just doesn't show up for his team. And we know Paul George isn't there anymore, so all the pressure was going to be on Kawhi. Then, you could have Norman Powell in there, but can you really count on Norman Powell? So that was the reason why I kind of went with the Nuggets this way. It's a dogfight. It's a great series. The fireworks are there with the endings like y'all just mentioned. So it's going to be interesting. +2 is the play that I have on them tonight because they are at home. Another advantage, they had home court the whole series. So I like it tonight, +2. And let's go for a game 7, boys. Hopefully it lands like on the weekend. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I think this one could go 7. It seems like it has 7 written all over it. Let's move over to the Lakers and the Wolves. And here's where the panic button gets pressed. I mean, for me, after the Lakers split it 1-1 and the way that we won that game, I was already hitting the panic button because that was like the ugliest win of all time, Ron. What do you think, man?
They were all. Oh, I think wherever the panic button is, we need to pound that. We need to pound that good. Pound that button. Pause.
A weird motion.
But no, man. I mean, let's face it. Luka's only been with the squad for 3 months. He had the flu game, which hurt us. Yeah. You have JJ Redick playing the same 5 guys the whole second half. Was that shit true, or y'all were trolling?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
True. Did not make a single sub.
They played 24 minutes, all of them, no subs.
And I was giving him his flowers too. Like, he's great defensively, and all year he's been, matching up with great teams, and their defense is low key good. And this series, he looks like the rookie coach that the guy is, because he's getting out coached. The subs are all wrong to me. He's giving guys run that, shouldn't even be on the court.
Look at Austin Reeves, Ron. I mean, he's supposed to be our real third option, bro, and
Yeah.
he's chucking balls up left and right. Like it's not a good look. Jackson Hayes can't get any minutes at all.
But
Like
he's unplayable
defensive-
when
though.
there's
he's
real
more of a
bigs
like-
against him, and I said Nas Reed would eat here and there. Sure enough, he's eating just enough
Called it.
to tear us up. But so is Julius Randle, and
Yeah.
not even to mention the business that
Props to
Anthony's
Julius
giving
Randle.
us. I mean, it's not a good look, man. We don't have no depth. We have no depth. I expected that Luka could make up for it offensively. That flu game was really bad for him. It's not looking good, Roland.
Nah,
Just
man.
not a good look. I know you're holding a ticket. I know we invited you to Laker Kingdom to hey, be with us for a
Hey,
little
man,
bit,
it's all right.
but it's like we didn't give you the good,
It wasn't
the
meant to
good-
be. It
the
wasn't
good
meant to
table
be.
here, man.
Yeah, it's just not meant to be. I'm a true black and silver. Of course, I was rooting for y'all, betting interests. I do, hold an affinity a little bit for LeBron. I like him as a
Yeah.
player, always will. So definitely want to see them do good. But man, I honestly was kind of pushing the panic button after game one. I did not like the way game one looked
Yeah.
at all. The way that the Wolves dominated that game. They played the game at their tempo. They weren't able to kind of run Rudy off of the court. Nas Reed was hitting threes like crazy, and it just was not a good sign of things to come. You kind of still hoped that the talent of Luka and LeBron were going to see its way through, and then kind of hope that the Wolves wouldn't be able to replicate a 21-3 3-point shot outing or makes in that game one, but they didn't need to here. They're up 3-1. They have the youthful superstar on their team right now, Anthony Edwards, the young buck that, he's not afraid of anything. He plays that way. And, with them up 3-1, the clips of what he's done in the past have started to resurface. He's taken out these superstars in the past. He took out the Nuggets last year in Jokic. I took out KD and the Suns in that first round. He's been making his rounds, and this is almost kind of I don't
Like
want
a
to say a
legend
passing
killer.
of the torch per se, but I think it's a birth of a superstar. Like if he wasn't already, in that realm, he is, cementing himself up there right now in terms of the current pantheon of NBA players. I don't think you can go too many names now without mentioning Mr. Anthony Edwards, because he can do it all. We talked about it in the lead up to round one. Shooting 10 threes a game, but he's hitting 4 of them. He's shooting 40%. He was the 3-point shooting king. He took 7 threes the last game to get it done over Malik Beasley, but he hit 320 threes this year. So Anthony Edwards, true 3-level scorer. He can, play defense, lock up your best player, or try to at times. And
he
he's a
wants
plus
your best
defender.
player.
Yeah,
He wants to
he's
be
not a
on that guy.
minus on defense. He's a plus defender. And speaking of minuses on defense, can't go too far without, can't mention it or get off this topic or this
saying it.
series without mentioning Luka. I mean, he has reverted all the way back to, the Brian Windhorst, monologue that he had on ESPN and that series against the Celtics in the finals, where he was saying that there's no way that you can win a title with Luka playing that kind of defense or playing at the level that he was, despite, his offensive prowess. And I'm almost kind of starting to believe it a little bit, just from the perspective of, like, you can't lay down on the floor, man. Like, get up. Like, honestly, dude, like, I don't care if you feel like you got hacked or something. The refs are not on your side. You're not particularly on good terms with the refs. I think the refs are kind of against Luka at this point with the way that he treats them. They don't give him the benefit of the doubt. He still gets calls because of the name on the back of his jersey. He's a superstar. But, I mean, they definitely don't like him, and they're not going to favor him. So anything questionable, really, it's going to go against him. And you just want to see better effort out of a guy that's that good. And that's without, talking about LeBron James and kind of his, late game blunders. But yeah, man, the panic button all the way pressed for the Lakers. I think they're cooked. Probably going to go out, I think, tomorrow.
When we were talking about it earlier, this is Ben broke down their roster and he started naming guys, and I'm like, fuck, that's a bad matchup. Fuck, that's a bad matchup. Shit, that's a terrible matchup. That's when I kind of hit the panic button, because I was all in on the Lakers, and then I realized the Wolves have a solid ass lineup. And when you break it down like that, like, I mean, look at them. I mean, that's because Conley doesn't even start anymore. Somebody else starts, right?
No, Conley's still starting,
Yeah,
but
he's still
I mean,
starting?
Jackson
Okay.
Hayes has been unplayable this series. They've been rolling out a DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, in that
Mhm.
spot all series. You talked about it in your opening here on this series about JJ Redick not playing anybody else but that starting five in the second half. I mean, I get it because look, again, you notice it the game one. They really didn't have a lot of, to your point with the Wolves
Matchup.
lineup and how deep it
Yeah.
was. They didn't really have a lot of matchup changes, or they didn't. Redick doesn't have a lot of tools in his bag to go to necessarily. Gabe Vincent, I thought played pretty good. I mean, hit some
Mhm.
threes, has been timely. But I mean, you start going down the list to your point. I mean, Jordan Goodwin, I mean, he's going to give you
Yeah.
some decent minutes off of effort. Dalton Connect can't really play.
They just don't have that guy who's a threat though on the
Yeah,
bench,
and you
like
mentioned it too,
at
though.
all.
But and that's the thing though with the Lakers. We knew
Even
that
Vanderbilt.
going in.
Yeah.
We knew
Vandy's
that
like
going
all
in.
defense. That's it. Like Vanderbilt's in there.
Yeah.
But
He can
he
get
can't
buckets.
even play defense this series. Like he's supposed to be the demon on defense, and he can't.
For sure. And the thing with the Lakers too is I think everyone that picked them to, make a deep run was just banking on their best three being, good enough to get it done. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. Luka,
Yeah.
LeBron, and then the thing that everyone was talking about, and you brought it up here. This guy's kind of been missing most of the series. Is Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, "Oh well, Austin Reeves is going to be matched up with everybody's, third or fourth best defender. Good luck guarding that."
And then
I
you would
mean,
sprinkle in a little bit of Rui here and there, a little bit.
yeah,
But
and Rui's
those
done what
guys
he's
are
could,
just,
but
yeah.
No, it's not enough. We need a real big. We need a real big. That's
Yeah,
gotta be
that
priority.
Mark
That's been
Williams.
priority for the last 3 years, and it still hasn't happened. So
And then you have Luka and LeBron doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, Luka has like 38, 36, and 31. And except for the flu game, he still had like 18. We saw LeBron almost hit the 40 piece the other night. So offensively, they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. So you can't, all the Laker haters can't say, oh, LeBron ain't showing up like they do about Uno. Oh, he's not putting up, the numbers.
Yeah,
Luka,
yeah.
but he's not
Luka-
showing up when it counts, Ron. I mean, he's not.
Yeah,
in the
I
fourth
understand
quarter,
that. So that's what I was gonna say is even Luka, he's dropping all these, crazy numbers points wise, 35 pluses. But when it's like a minute left and you have him with the ball, you want that little jumper to go in. Or the thing that I don't like, just real quick, is they were up 2 last game with like a minute left. And then instead of making an easy bucket, getting a play called like, an easy play, it's just let's all stand around the 3-point line and then watch LeBron dribble, pass it to Luka, dribble, no cuts, no back cuts. It's just like, okay, somebody, and then you just know it too, like as a fan, right? You're like, okay, so who's taking the 3? And then if the 3 goes in, you're the hero because you go up 5, but then you miss the 3 and they go score a fucking and 1, and then you're down 1.
And then he can't inbound the ball.
And then like the media's like, oh, he missed
all
a
season
big
he can't
shot at
inbound the
the
ball.
end. Oh, he's not clutch because he missed that 3 and this and that. It's just that type of shit. That's the type of series that it's been, man. Because it's been a competitive series too, except for game 1. Lots of lead changes. I mean, coming down to the last minute, but it's those little fucking plays right there that kill you.
And I'm getting a little bit more turned off on Luka. Like, too, like on defense, the Lakers are trying to hide him as best as they can. Like they're putting him, and again, no shade on him because he can hit a 3. He has a little move here and there, but Jaden McDaniel should not be like taking you off the dribble consistently.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Dropping
care.
30 on you.
Like have a little bit more pride. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. I don't know if he's injured or whatever, but I'm not going to give him that.
Sick,
We've seen it too much. We've seen it too
yeah,
much.
he's been such a detriment on defense, Roland, that at this point, fans are starting to say, well, we kind of see Nico Harrison's vision at this point.
I'm starting to see that. I mean, people still don't agree with the fact that he didn't try and get first-round picks and stuff, but the whole concept of like Luka is such a minus on defense that he might like not be worth all of this stuff at the end of the day. Might be onto something.
Hey, right here, sorry, I know we can keep talking about the Lakers, but just real quick to shout out to people in the chat.
Shout out comments.
Alex, what's up, Louis? Eddie's in here as well. So let's get to what they're kind of saying in the chat. Louis says that the Lakers need a true big man. Yep. Yes, everybody knows that. So now we can kind of go to, but who? who could they go get out there that's going to make it work? Contract wise, money wise, I don't know off the
There's a
top of
Greek
my
guy
head.
coming
but-
up. I mean, who
Yeah,
knows?
that'd be nice if they throw their name in the Giannis ring for sure.
You think, yeah? You think somebody like that? I mean, it's Giannis, right? But no, like Jokic talks. since
Maybe
his contract
Jokic.
is
Yeah, I
up.
mean it's the Lakers. They're gonna throw their names. They're gonna Photoshop everybody. I'm sure we'll see
I'm
Jokic
already
and,
doing it. I'm already
and Giannis
photoshopping it.
in some photoshops. But I mean, the Thunder, not the Thunder, the Hornets trade that fell through. I mean that
Mark
kind of
Williams.
hurts now. Williams, he even would have been pretty good. He's kind of a double here and there.
Like
for
his
you.
connect
Yeah.
ain't getting minutes, so we might as well use Williams at this point.
And a better
Yeah.
defender on Rudy, bro.
And Bronny too, man. You got to play him in these minutes. You just got to. I mean, why not?
But yeah, let's get over to this last game over here with the
Panic
West.
button for sure, Lakers.
The Warriors and the Rockets. Ben's not here to hit the panic button, but I'm pretty sure if he
What a
could,
coincidence. Is it really
Yeah.
Gabby's birthday?
it's Gabby's birthday Thursday,
Nice.
and he has a.
Thursday.
And on Wednesday he has a social Wednesday, miércoles social or something. He was telling me, so he had to celebrate it today.
Oh, what
Couldn't make it, boys. He
good
couldn't
guy.
make it. But I'm sure if he was here, hit the panic button
for
on
sure,
the
for
Rockets. It seemed like last night they gave their biggest fight. They had Draymond in trouble for the most part, took him out of the game, were allowed to play and kind of play in their element, but couldn't close it out in the end when Sengun was needed the most. Draymond put the locks on the kid, and as Marky said earlier, Sengun just shot putted a ball up, felt a little flat, and there goes 3-1 lead for the Warriors rolling. Is it over for them at this point? Do the Warriors advance? I mean, did they get the 2 seed, the easiest 2 seed of all time? Or was it just a legit win by the Warriors?
A legit win by the Warriors. I mean, the one thing that's glaring from the Rockets is a little, too early in the process for them, right? They're still not a finished product. They're still baking. You can obviously tell that they need a true alpha on offense.
Yep.
The guy that was supposed to, in my opinion, carry them on offense this series was probably going to be Sengun. I thought he'd be able to, be a facilitator, their best scorer, kind of just their best player. But I thought he's been mostly inefficient this series. The other guy that they kind of banked on him throughout the year to, score points for them, although he's been just mostly hot and cold. And shout out Sengun, he had 31 points.
Yeah, he's at 30,
on Monday,
27, and 19, I think.
Yeah, so good
Yeah.
for him. He had
With no
2 off
Draymond.
games in the middle, but otherwise, game 1 and 4, he did play good. But Jalen Green, he's been mostly a minus. He had like one good game, and
a
then
big
after that,
minus at that.
he just does not play team or winning basketball. Honestly, he does not have a concept of the offense. Like whenever he touches the ball, he either goes 100 miles per hour at the rim or tries to get off his, a difficult, contested shot, which he's good at making, but it's mostly, hit or miss for the guy. He's not a true consistent, bankable, 20, 25 points, which you hope you have at least one guy at this stage in the season or in the playoffs that can do that for you. And that's just kind of the difference in the series is the Warriors have bankable points and Steph Curry. I mean, say what you want about Steph in terms of like what he's done in the finals or what have you, still has done good in those scenarios. But I mean, Nelson Fertitta or whatever Fertitta's name is, you don't own the Warriors. Steph Curry owns the Warriors. If anything has been evident in this series, it's that Steph still owns Houston. It's been a team effort. Jimmy missed that game, but his presence in this series has been known. Him and Brooks were going at it last night, and I think Butler got the better of him. I saw a stat since that little point in time where they started arguing on the free throw line. From that moment, Jimmy Butler proceeded to have like 23 points, and Brooks didn't score a single basket. So the Rockets, I just miscalculated the April 2nd game, or I think it was in April sometime where Amen Thompson shut down Steph Curry. Ime Udoka and Curry were going at it after the game. He was calling him a crybaby. I thought the Rockets were going to be able to get more of that in this series, and that's kind of what I was banking on. But severe miscalculation on my point. I'm pressing the panic button 100% with both hands. just because it's that dire of a situation for them. I think they might come out with some pride because they still are some young guns. They're still going to have some fresh legs going up against the veterans, and Golden State might have a chance to extend it one game. But I really think the Warriors got this one in the bag. Shout out Steph and their their guys over there. They really showed up.
Ron, what says you, man? Are you hitting the panic button for Ben as well here?
Hell yeah, they're cooked more than the Lakers are, bro. Easy. Like, they have nothing going on for them. Sengun dropped so many points last night in the second half, which kept them in the game. But then what did they do? Put fucking Ben Necio Diaz ×2 out there on the court and Draymond to just put a stop to that final play. Doesn't fucking Ben remind you of Draymond? Raise your hand if he does, because he reminds me of Draymond so much.
He's gonna hate seeing that. You know him.
Big Necio dude out there, just like yoing everywhere. That's him, bro. But yeah, I mean, they're more cooked for every reason that you guys said. That rounds it out to the offense. Defensively, yes. Somebody said in our chat, like, I think maybe it was Wally. He's like, Udoka's just like, hey, go out there, play hard defensively, and fight and be aggressive. But there's no like offensive fluency over there. You don't have somebody who can make the clutch jump shot. Like Sengun's a great center, but I feel like he doesn't fit with all the other guys. Like, there's no cohesiveness there in that offense. There's no half court offense, I guess you could say.
Oh.
It's either you run them out the gym or you lose because you can't do anything else. And against OGs like the Warriors, with a coach like that, I mean, they're gonna just fucking read you and shift and make all these changes and just make you look like you have been for the series, which is why they're up 3-1. I don't remember who I had in the series, but I said don't sleep on the Warriors.
Rockets, man.
Did I? I don't think so, dog.
You did.
We'll run it back.
Yeah, I had the
2-2.
Rockets. Yeah.
Oh, then it was 1-3. Yeah. So I was the only one on Warriors.
I was wrong.
So yeah, the other thing last night is free throws, bro. They had way more free throw opportunities, the Rockets, and they just could not come up with free throws. That game goes their way completely if they make 2-3 more free throws. And they missed at least 10 to 12 of them. So that hurt them with all the technicals and the flagrants that were called. You make those free throws. I guess ball wasn't lying for them because they weren't making them. That changes the game. So it's not like they were completely getting out coached or outplayed there. It's just you got to go to the fundamentals and make those things happen for yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking at the box score right now. They shot 9 more free throws than Golden State, but Golden State made 1 more free throw than the Rockets did last night, 20-19. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a big difference. The bright spots, of course, Sengun, he is a bright spot there still. But Jalen Green in the playoffs has shown that he's a liability at this point. Like, he's so cold. So
you can't play him for periods at a time.
Yeah, for next year, they're going to have to move and get somebody who can close a game out. I did like what I saw from Fred VanVleet yesterday. Yep. I mean, that 3-point was just wet. I don't know if he even missed one. At some point, he was like 6 for 8, and all he had was 3-point shot. And, I mean, he hit it. But coming out of halftime, the Warriors were super ignited. I mean, I think in a way, they rally behind Draymond when he does all those stupid things. And it hypes them up and it gets them going. I know they're an emotional team, and it showed coming out of second half. I mean, it was like a 24-6 swing for the Warriors.
Oh, no, it was 18-1.
Yeah, there you go, 18-1, something crazy. I mean, it was just all Warriors to come out of the half. So,
and I like that you brought that point up because there's no leader over there in Houston. There's nobody who can.
Sengun is not a leader.
Calm everybody down.
VanVleet, probably.
Get the squad together and like, all right, let's focus and get our shit together. Nah, it's like just a bunch of young dudes like out there.
Their leader doesn't get on the court. He's their coach, and that's not good enough. You need a leader on the court as well, and they don't have that. Ime is a great coach, but
what do you
think
about
on the court to give you
the veterans that they have are VanVleet and Dillon Brooks, and we know about Dillon Brooks.
And Dillon Brooks can be had.
I was speaking of veterans. What do you think about? I don't know if they played together that much, but they didn't look too bad out there together. Steven Adams and
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Karl Anthony Towns has been knocking down threes like crazy this playoff series. He just drained one from Steph Curry range right now.
I saw that from the K on the New York side.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
Shit. No, the Adams and Sengun looked pretty decent together. I don't know if they played a lot of minutes together, but at the end there, they looked that little, you know, size down low. I think might be something that they can look into. I just don't know how much more Adams' run has him because the Warriors aren't a huge team inside. I mean, they have Draymond is probably one of their biggest guys in there, and they have that the sub that comes in from time to time. But I think I saw
Oh,
Mooney
yeah.
get some run out there, and that's like
How much do you think Pods can give the Warriors in the second round? Because he's been
such
doing
a
pretty good
sleeper,
here.
right?
In the second round, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a believer in him. I don't think he's played
Streaky guy.
very good this series. I think he had a good game this
Like this
past
question.
series or this past game. Been mostly a miss for me. And I think in high pressure situations, he's still kind of unproven. So I wouldn't bank on him. And man, the Rockets too, kind of where they lost this series is a game without Jimmy. They should have won that game because even if they lose the game last night, it would be fine. They'd be 2-2 going back to Houston. But they blow that game without Jimmy, and that exemplifies even more so their need for a true alpha on that court as far as an offensive scorer. So they should be the leader in the KD sweepstakes because they need to be able to capitalize on this wealth of talent that they have. They drafted Reed Shepherd in the lottery. I mean, top 5 pick. A guy was down in the valley with you and with Ron and Justin most of the year playing with the Vipers. Couldn't crack the lineup for the Rockets. So they got too many guys. We talked about it, and it was kind of glaring too. They didn't have a true 5. You talked about them going big. Kind of one of the benefits that they have of having so many guys is being able to switch it up. But they honestly, I don't know, they knew their true best 5 players because there's at times where you couldn't play Jalen Green.
Yeah.
It's just
Amen Thompson.
Yeah, Amen Thompson. You don't know what you're going to get from him in offense.
Foul trouble
especially
quick yesterday.
Yeah, if he gets in foul trouble or the defense isn't there. So yeah, the
He's in
Rockets
foul
got some
trouble.
stuff.
I mean, those guys were trying too hard.
They got some stuff to figure out, but man, I think
They just do a lot of young rookie-ish type shit still, like
Yeah,
in
and
their
then-
game, like little reach-ins or like bumping them extra, like with the chest, like
Yeah.
little
Dylan
shit
Brooks
like that.
stuff.
Yeah, like little shit like that. That's coming from the coach. I think not to go foul them, but to be aggressive. And it's like, I don't know how aggressive you want these guys to be because mentally that could take them out the game. They could be like on a run. Finally, Jalen Green starts hitting some shots, and then he committed a stupid foul. I got to pull him from the game, and there goes everything. Yeah. They're just to me doing that, like those little.
You just see the youth there still, Ron. They're still
Yeah.
young. Like they're what the Oklahoma City was last season in the playoffs. All right, let's move over to the East Coast. One team that has already moved on, and that is the Cavaliers. They completely decimated the Heat yesterday. Tyler Hero was just not enough to keep them in the game. 4-0 sweep. What do you make of that one, Ron? Are the Cavs for real?
No, I just think the Heat are fucking terrible, bro. I mean, the Cavs are good. They're the
Cavs
number
are
one
good,
seed
man.
for a reason. But I mean, this isn't OKC versus the Grizzlies over here. They were just putting them away. Like I think what was
Backing
the
them up
game
quick.
4? I mean, they almost doubled them up in game 4. I mean, and it was like 1-something to 670. I don't know what the hell. I mean, that's just total domination, man.
Yeah, no, too easy. Another 1-8 matchup that ends in a sweep. Miami, valiant effort. They got through as the 10 seed. I think they're the first team in the play-in era to do that. They won the 2 road games. They beat the Bulls in Chicago and beat the Hawks in Atlanta. So props to them for getting that done. That does take something. Shout out Tyler Harrow. I heard them on the broadcast talking about it, and it's true. This is their first year, playing without Jimmy, or first half season because Jimmy left, and he found himself in a happy spot now in Golden State. So now everyone's feeling
Chasing
good.
rings.
But Miami, Bam and Tyler Harrow kind of first time in the spotlight by themselves as the primary, offensive focus for the team. Thought they did okay, but they're a couple pieces away. But good thing for them, they got Pat Riley on their side, and they're in Miami, so they're always going to be able to attract a superstar or somebody that's close to that status. So expect them to be active in free agency.
It's one of those markets.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them throw their names in the Giannis sweepstakes or something like that. So
Ooh, I don't hate
more to
that.
come from Miami. They got a lot of work to do though, because I mean they just don't have enough talent, and that was evident here. I think the Cavs are for real. I think
Me
they'll
too.
get. I think they'll get through Indiana, despite what we saw from the Bucks. Another series I kind of miscalculated, but yeah, no, the Cavs they're deep. They're just like the Thunder. They have a deep bench. They got which I think is going to be kind of matched up kind of well with the Pacers. The Pacers are kind of deep too. They got some guys on their bench that they can go to, so that'll be interesting, kind of strength on strength. But Cavs had one of the best benches all year. And their starting lineup with Mitchell, defensive player of the year, Mobley, who's kind of got to step up a little bit here in the second round. Like what I see out of that team, and I think they'll give Boston, if they both advance, kind of a run for their money in the in the finals or Eastern Conference Finals. And shout out Roland in the comments. Does Giannis leave? I think that's the other. Actually, no, my bad. Let's. Did you want to talk about the Cavs before we get to the Bucks and Pacers?
No, I was about to get to the Bucks and Pacers with you.
Yeah, no, Bucks and Pacers miscalculated that series. Thought the Bucks were gonna have a little bit more fight. Just kind of went best player in the series. Giannis thought he was gonna be able to eke out a couple of games. Was only able to get one. Although the way that they blew the game tonight was stuff
overtime.
kind of out of a college basketball game. Those were the mistakes that they were making, or that Gary Trent kind of made. Ended up losing the game. They were up by 4 in overtime, less than 30 seconds left. Gary Trent turnover, Halliburton and one, inbounds the ball, pass it again to Gary Trent, goes through his legs, out of bounds. Pacers come back and Halliburton takes Giannis off the dribble. Now to Roland's comment, it's in the image here. I hope you guys are liking the images we're putting out here to promote the podcast episodes. We had Giannis, boarding a flight. The talks have been going on the past couple years. Really the last two, and more so this season, about Giannis's whereabouts. What is he going to do this free agency? Or not this free agency, but this summer, is he going to try and ask for his way out? Could we possibly see Giannis, kind of packing his bags and leaving Milwaukee, for greener pastures, elsewhere? Ron, what do you think about this series and Giannis, next steps?
Can they trade Dame?
Oh, that's
under contract next year.
He's under contract next year, and he probably won't be back until halfway, or probably going to miss all of next year.
Looking like a torn Achilles for Dame too, so he couldn't contribute the series at all either, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, because I mean, if you're the Bucks, you're like, hey, all right, this Dame thing didn't work out. Let's fucking bounce him off and keep Giannis, then bring in whoever Giannis wants. Because I mean, you got to keep him, right? If it's up to Giannis, I could see him leaving, bro. Like, he's brought that small market team a ship. He's one of the faces of the game. That franchise has made so much money over the years for him. So I think he might feel like they owe it to him. Like, hey, look, I want to bounce. I've given you guys everything that I can. I took y'all to the mountaintop. We celebrated together. So let's leave, respecting what we did for each other. And I'm off to either chase money. Roland, you're the finance guy here on contracts. He'll get a super max deal.
He's chasing rings. I think he loses money.
Yeah,
for
okay.
leaving,
Or is he like, hey, let me go somewhere where I can win, like this year? Or
I think he's trying to max out his prime. Giannis, it's crazy as it sounds, but he finds himself about to be 31 next year. So, time is ticking on his prime. And, the past couple of years, I mean, you can bank Giannis in for 30, 10, and 8 or something like to that effect the last 5-6 years. Giannis is on a level of where he's competing to be like a top 20, 15-ish player of all time. And that's just how good he is. And when you're at that stage, people are going to start saying, you've only gotten one ring, and that one ring was against the Suns. Kind of crazy comeback. They did get it done when I think they were down 2-0, came back and won that series 4-2. So props to them for getting it done. But it was kind of, when you look back at it, kind of a fluky run. There's a lot of injuries in that particular playoff run, if you guys remember. So
it had a pretty easy road to get there.
Yeah, had a pretty good road to get there. They've had their blunders in the bubble. The Heat were their demons for the longest time. So yeah, and they just don't have a lot of talent. You know, that they had Middleton, his ankles gave out. He's not there anymore. Dane, you guys pointed out, was
Blood clot and Achilles.
was a help, but he got the clot and then the Achilles, and so he's gonna be out. So if you're the Bucks too, I mean, this is really the time to do it. I have Giannis's contract pulled up here. He's under contract next year. He's under contract 26, 27. And then I want to say he has a player option in 27, 28, if I'm reading this correctly. So this next is the time to do it, because I mean, you don't want to go into that 26, 27 season pretty much like naked, right? You're not covered there on the back end with that player option. So
we're probably looking at a sign and trade, not so much just a trade at this point.
Yeah, so it's going to be a sign and trade. So there's going to have to be teams that are stockpiling picks, or who knows, maybe this guy, the GM for the Bucks, has been taking class from Nico, and he's just going to try and do something on the low with nobody.
There's got to be trust, Roland. There's got to be trust, and who better to trust?
Yeah, exactly. So who knows what's going to happen? But I still think Giannis demands top dollar, right? I mean, he's still in his prime. You can still bank him in for 30, 10, and 8 or something to that effect. So are there any destinations you guys think Giannis could find himself in? I hear Houston. I hear Brooklyn.
Imagine him teaming up with Wemby. Like that would be crazy.
I mean, that's a dream come true.
I know, but you could see that being a fit.
Yeah, it's a dream come true. I mean, if Giannis would consider it, I mean, I would have him personally.
That's like NBA Europe over there. San Antonio's NBA Europe. All the good Europeans go to San Antonio and ball out. Like,
if it means anything, he's got my stamp of approval to come over to San Antonio. I would love to. I
think the franchise was waiting, rolling on your stamp of approval.
Hey, so we got the Spurs got some picks to throw out there. The Hawks pick turned into a lottery pick for us this year. On top
just
of
got the rookie of the year
lottery pick. We have back-to-back rookie of the year, Stephon Castle, Wemby. We just got De'Aaron Fox. So I mean, the Spurs are kind of turning into a destination just kind of based off of the roster that we built, and we have some flexibility with our roster in terms of guys who we can throw in there in the trade. I mean, maybe Vassell, depends what you think about his development long term. Kind of think it was an iffy year for him, kind of plagued by injury. Keldon Johnson's there, kind of played good this year, I think, despite what I thought of him going into the year. So, there's some pieces we can move around. Got some picks we can move around, and we've got Wemby. I don't. No other team can say that, and I think that's kind of something to be said.
We just got to make sure he's healthy, man.
Just gotta make sure he's healthy.
Let's move over to the game that's currently going on. 104-103. Pistons up. 5 seconds left. This series right now, New York Knicks lead the series 3-1. There was an error in the last game. Refs do admit now that they made a mistake. So, what says you, Roland? What do you think about this series? It really could have been 2-2 with someone trying to get the lead here. These young Pistons not looking too bad. I mean, they have really kind of figured it out. I think they're going to be a playoff team for quite some time. What says you?
Was that Ron or Roland?
No, I said Roland.
Oh, my bad. That last call that you mentioned, terrible missed call. Definitely, we already moved past the Bucks and the Spurs topic, Roland. So we can not talk about Wemby leaving.
Roland's ready for Wemby.
Getting distracted. I'm sorry, but no. To your point with the Pistons, that's probably my takeaway from the series, because I didn't really expect for them to go out and win it. I thought the Knicks would just get along on their talent, which depending how this game shakes out, they're probably still going to win this series within 6 games. But the Pistons really proved themselves to, have a good little core going, led by Cade Cunningham, Malik Beasley, spot up 3-point shooter. I still think that they're a team that needs another scorer there, another bankable bucket getter next to Cade Cunningham. I like what you're getting out of Duren this series. Double machine, alley-oop monster. A guy that you truly have to account for, but still not a guy that you can give the ball and be like, hey, go get me a bucket. So that's still their problem. They're still going to the Tim Hardaway Juniors of the world for their buckets, and when it's not Cade Cunningham. And so the list kind of just, kind of drops off in terms of the scoring ability once you go down the roster a little bit. So, and Schroeder's been giving them good minutes, but no, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Justin. I think Detroit is going to be a playoff team for years to come. And they're another team that I think they're kind of building a culture there. They're back to that bad boys Pistons. Isaiah Stewart is the one leading that front. Although he's kind of missed the past couple games. Shout out to him. He's got a little bit of a music career going too on that Jamaican bumbleclap type of genre. But I like what I'm seeing out of the Pistons. And shout out Karl Anthony Towns. Noted him earlier, but I think he's played outstanding this series, especially last game. He's the one who willed them to that victory. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of Cat. Great player.
What about
but
you, Ron?
I don't know about Knicks long term though.
What are you thinking about the Knicks and their head coach, Ron? It seems like he can't get them over the hump no matter where he's gone.
The Knicks series, fuck, there's so much talent over there too, right? I mean, as far as that series went, they have home court as well. I think the young Detroit Pistons. I just don't know if you can blame the Knicks because the Pistons are playing so good, right? Like, it's not like the Knicks are playing terrible. Maybe they just met a team that's hitting their stride at the right time. Yeah. And, this is maybe one of those where you say, shit, just give the Pistons credit. It's not like and again, what seed is this, boys? This is like a 3 and 6 seed, so you expect it to be a little bit more competitive, off the rip. So as far as the coaching, I'm not too familiar with that. I know, like Justin said, he's not somebody who's, getting all these ships. Could you compare him to maybe like a Doc Rivers type of guy? That's the only thing that I have.
He's way under that. I mean, he's a liability coaching, I think, in the playoffs. Talk about a guy who you were criticizing JJ for not making swaps off the depth of his bench. This guy absolutely does not trust anybody but the first 6 guys on his team. He doesn't play anybody.
The Knicks blew up their bench and picks and stuff, I think, to get Mikal Bridges. So I think they're another team. I mean, you start going down the list. I mean, you get to the Mitchell Robinson, so the world real quick, and he's their primary backup center. You got Miles McBride, who's their primary backup point guard, or Elfrid Payton. I mean, if I was Thibodeau, I'd be thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't want to play Elfrid Payton. He's known more for dancing than he is.
He's not getting playoff minutes
in the NBA, and he's out here getting minutes for the Knicks. So it's tough. I think they made a decision, going for that star-studded lineup, and bringing over Mikal Bridges, but you're kind of starting to see the effects of that. To your point, Justin, they don't have a lot of depth.
Yeah, I still think the Knicks should be able to pull this off, Roland. But I like what I see from the Pistons. I think they're a lot like the Rockets that next year they're going to take another step forward. You might see them in the next round.
For sure. I agree.
Let's move over to the last game, the Celtics and the Magic. The Celtics and Magic are playing right now. It's in the third quarter. With Boston up 1, it seems like the Magic got their footing the last game. They were able to win 107-98. There's a lot of talk on Tatum and Jaylen Brown's health, Roland. They should still be able to get past these Magic, right? That shouldn't be a problem. It's going to probably be in 5 still, no matter what.
Yeah, it's still going to be in 5. I think they're going to end up 6. Closing this game out. I think they just took the lead. I'm not watching. I had it on the TNT game.
Yeah, they're up 1 with 5 minutes.
So I think they'll end up pulling it out here. And they're simply too good. I kind of agree with, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't usually agree when players, start complaining about physicality, but I really think that's really the Magic's only chance in the series is to muck it up and make it ugly. And, sometimes you do cross the line a little bit when you're doing that. And that's resulted kind of in Jaylen Brown getting injured. His mom almost had to step in. So, when it gets to that point, it's pretty serious.
When a parent has to step in, it's crazy.
Pretty serious. You just saw Giannis getting into it with Tyrese Halliburton's dad. So, I mean, there's some serious stuff going on here when family's getting involved. So, and don't let Russell Westbrook see your kids or he'll, start shouting at them. But anyways, the Celtics just too good. But shout out, Paolo Banchero. I think he's proven himself to be a gamer, right? I mean,
Yes.
bankable 30, and that's when you don't really have another option on there other than Wagner, who I think's been it's Wagner, right? Am I butchering that?
Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner, yeah. So he's been good too. But the Magic, man, they're another team you look at and you're just like they need another scorer. They need another bucket getter because they don't have a lot of options. Once
KCP's their third, and that's like he's been declining. He's not the Nugget KCP. He's not the Laker KCP.
He needs that ankle monitor on him to start playing with some edge again. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Crazy.
I was watching the game the other day, and the commentators like, I think he made a free throw, and he's like his first bucket in the 34 minutes he's played tonight.
Yeah, he's out there,
like, damn,
airing him out, man.
Was out there for.
Yeah, Cole Anthony's not a good fourth option either. Like they need some shooters. They got the defense down.
Yeah, and Jalen Suggs got hurt, so I mean that was a minus going into the playoffs. But they're a team, just I don't know how willing they would want to, in terms of their fan base, how willing they would be to be in the sweepstakes. But they could be a team that is looking for a Trae Young. I mean that's just instant offense, and I think they need a scoring point guard.
Ron, you got the Celtics here closing the series out tonight, possibly, or you think you get another game after this?
They're at home tonight. They're up. They have the momentum in the series. I have, 62-58 with 4:56 left in the third. So they're up 5. So it seems like they might be pulling away. If they go into the fourth quarter up, 8 to 10 points, they should seal it. I picked them to go all the way to the finals. I don't think they'll have trouble next round.
That's what I was
looks like the Knicks and the Pistons is a series that's gonna take long. So the Celtics, for the injury concerns that you were pointing out earlier, Justin, will have time to heal, to get all their guys rested, because the series before them is going to take long, and they finished theirs in 5. Matchup wise, against the Pistons, I think they're better. Against the Knicks, they have a few more role players than I think will step up, because like you guys mentioned earlier, to your point, the Knicks' bench isn't the greatest either. So I have them with the Cavs, like I mentioned before, in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it hasn't been an easy road for them. The Magic are putting up a little bit of a fight, but I think same thing happened with them when they won the championship as well. They're Roland mentioned the other series where players were getting hurt for the Bucks, but I think in their series when they won it, they were playing against teams that were either hurt or not good, or they just had like a really easy road to the finals. So yeah, man, Celtics.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Celtics tonight, they close it out.
All right, I did have the Pacers coming out of the East. I am scared about that now, though. I think the Celtics will probably take care. I mean, the Cavs will probably take care of them this round.
I think they'll give them a series, though. I think
so, but I was way more confident before when the playoffs had just started. Now I'm kind of like, both my teams are looking rough, because I said it was going to be Lakers and Pacers, and I went off the beaten path a little too far.
Yeah, the Pacers are the one team that their helter-skelter style that usually kind of slows down in the playoffs. They're able to enforce that still in the playoffs, right? They're still playing at a crazy phonetic pace.
They have good size. There's a lot of big, solid dudes over there. Turner's good.
Turner was a spot the Lakers were looking at as a trade to get a big, man, and we just couldn't pull it off right before the deadline. That's another one that
we would have got Turner.
Kicking myself on, like, why can't we just get one of these guys, one big for once? 3 years in, we still haven't been able to fix that big issue. So
I saw fucking Obi Toppin hit a 3 the other day for the Pacers. That was like a big 3 at that point in the game, and I was like, dude, I forgot about this kid. Like another solid big piece that was a part of that trade for the Knicks. Because we always talk about the A side of the trade, but the B side.
Yeah. Irv is in the chat. He's a known Lakers fan. Like that. He's not backing down.
I wanted to kick it to the chat real quick. I do want to, if y'all have any comments or anything, just drop them in real quick. We got a minute or two left before Ron shows the slide, and we'll hit you up with the chat. If you have anything in the chat, put it in now. Any topic you want to cover real quick in the chat, do something in the chat real quick.
Yeah, do that in the chat. And while they're doing that, and before Ian Gary, Carlos Prates, what do you think of the fight?
Great fight, 0 IQ. Kick him off the
Oh, that
fighting
fight
nerds
was
because if
sick.
you are fighting that way in the end, you are not a fighting
How do you
nerd.
not finish there?
Bro, he had him,
How
bro.
do you
He had
not
him. He
finish?
just,
Ian Gary's like reaching for ankles and
but
stuff.
there was no
like,
gas on
just
process. He
get on
couldn't.
him.
He couldn't finish. He had no gas.
But like there was one point where he's fully mounted on him and he's just like left,
The,
boom,
the
boom,
dude,
boom,
he
and
was
like the
3
ref's
punches to
already
the
like
head for
looking to
getting
step
it
in,
over
and
with.
then for some like he was even like I think he got in a couple good
Yo,
hammer
he got him on
fists.
one of those
And I was
hammer
like, go,
fists.
go,
He got
go.
him nasty on one of those
Yeah,
hammer
and then
fists.
he just like stops or pulls away, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just stay on him,
I was
bro.
so
Yeah, he
scared
finished
because
that.
I took Ian Gary in that fight, and I was like, hey, he had 3 rounds easy. I thought he won the first 3. It was 3-0. I thought the 4th was questionable, but then when all hell broke loose in the 5th round, and to your point, Ron, he's grabbing ankles, he's on all fours, he's hitting the anthem.
He looked out of it. He looked done.
Yeah, I thought he was done. I thought they were gonna call the fight. But he got it done. It's just crazy. Anybody in the chat, UFC paid him to not finish. There we go. We got the
I
conspiracy
had a
theory
3-2 or
figured.
4-1. It ended up being 2 for 3-2 and 1 for 4-1. I thought that was correct. I didn't think the 5th round was a 10-8 round by any means. It was a really good round, his best round, but not enough to be 10-8.
Because it was still competitive
Somebody
in the first
scored it at
half
10-8?
of the round.
No, there was in the chat. It was like people were saying that's 10-8, but it was not 10-8.
It was Ben because he was on protest.
I didn't want to air him out. He already didn't show up today.
Nah.
We bully him enough.
Shout out
He
Ben.
might
No,
not
shout out
come
Ben.
back,
It's
man.
always all love with Ben. And man, the Rockets almost there. That's the last thing I'll say on the Rockets. Almost there, man. Just got to make a move. Not all is doom and gloom for Mr. Diaz and his Rockets.
Yeah, it is because fucking Uno's disappearing too.
Yeah, not looking
Ron,
good for
The Clippers are up 20.
Real quick, you want to put up your slides
Clippers
real
up
quick?
8.
Yeah,
No, it was just like a talking point, like just like some general shit. For the overall look of the NBA, because everybody was talking shit about it, how it's been so bad, and they had to do the play-in tournament to try to get viewers. But this 7.35 million viewers was the second most watched round 1 game 4 ever on the ESPN platforms.
Nice.
And to me, bro, I think this is just, well, one, why do you think this happened and there was so many viewers, and is the NBA losing members, or clearly they're not because of this, or is it just because like you got LeBron and Luka on the same team, so now you don't have to watch the Lakers or watch the Mavs? It's just like all the fans got together and they're watching them play. That's kind of what
I think the same thing, wrong. I think you get the Mavericks / Luka core fans who have kind of followed him over, and you're getting some of that bridging the gap with some of those fans.
Yeah, you got the LeBron fanboys. I mean, it's the Lakers. They're always going to be near the top of the charts when it comes to viewership. But I also think too, this, and again, it's the Lakers, so they're always going to do good with viewership. But I will say, I think the league is in good hands in terms of their overall talent. Right? We got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, although he's still very relevant and alive in this playoffs, but their careers are kind of twilighting, right? They're getting towards the end of that. But after that, I mean, we still got a lot of talent in the NBA, and it's spread out. I think the NBA is probably as competitive as it's ever been from what I can remember watching, honestly. And that's even in the days where the West was a gauntlet, right? When it was like the Lakers, Mavs.
You got skill levels higher.
Nuggets, Spurs. Yeah, skill levels higher across the board. The elite level of shot making in the NBA is crazy. And yeah.
You know what I missed though, Roland? I missed the bigs that could put their back to the basket. We're not getting that no more. Sengun is like the only one that's still doing that at a really good level. That's a brand of basketball I always liked, and unfortunately, it's like Ron was talking about earlier. Everyone's playing accidental basketball at the perimeter, shooting threes, setting screens, and it's not my favorite. It really isn't my favorite.
Yeah, no, I think
it requires more skill to do so.
Yeah. Jokic maybe a little bit, but he's more of a perimeter guy. Go ahead, Ron.
Isn't it great when you see like the Kawhi game 2 I think it was, or 3. I think it was 2, where he just went off, and it's just like that old school, like get to your
Yeah.
spot at the elbow and put
Half
up the
court.
jumper,
Yep.
and then like just the little layups he was doing, and then just the quick little turnarounds. Not saying it's Jordan or Kobe like, but those are the last big names that we
Almost
saw play
is.
that style of game. And it's just like, oh, that was so cool to see, man. So shout out to
It's
Kawhi
kind of
for
fun to
that.
see Ant beat
Yeah,
us
shout out
up
Kawhi.
a little bit because the way he is, bro. The way he like gets in people's faces, and I like to see
Pushing
that.
LeBron.
Like, that kid's
That was
fun to watch,
crazy.
man.
Yeah.
All right,
I just
let's
don't
wrap
like
it
when
up
they
here.
like, yeah, I just don't like when they're like talking on the court all friendly, like, and then the commentators like they were, USA basketball team teammates, and I'm just like, bro, like I'm on here watching them trying to grind, trying to fight, like I ain't trying to watch them shake
Trying to
hands
watch
on
them
the
grind
court.
on each other.
Yeah, but all right, man,
Hey.
I'm out. Let's watch this Denver game. Great fucking show.
Yeah.
Thanks to
let's watch
everybody
that
in the
game
chat
too.
tonight. It was great. Everyone who shared it, we love it. Thank y'all. Peace.
Later.